Hello friends. So previously we have seen on how to actually fetch data from our Strapi CMS and display it in the form of data, for example like here, and we were able to display it in the form of JSON API. And all you have to do is just open our browser. As you can see here, we happen to have this particular object, and we click on this object. You can actually see the data that's being actually coming from Strapi CMS. And there you go. Now you all you have to do just need to be directly accessing it, and then just need to display it like this here. So first of all, what are we going to do here is that basically we're going to make a repeating group of like this, basically like this. We're going to be mapping through the array of blocks, and then we're going to be making sure that we are able to display all the info like this. For example, block 1, the description, the cover image, and so on. So let's get started. Let's go to our React project. Okay, so I would like to pass this data into this home page component. So I like to pass it as a props, for example like this. For example, I would say blocks, and it is equals to curly braces. So this is how you're able to pass. This is the format to be used for passing data in the form of props. So I like to pass this data inside here. So that's what I'll be doing. For example, data. So we need to make sure that we need to handle some errors. So what if Strapi weren't able to fetch data? So we must make sure that, let's say if this is not true, and we should make like error conditions. For example like this, let's say if we're going to be using this ternary operator. So let's say if this data is not found, so it's going to be false. So in this case, let's say the data is found, so it's just going to be showing as data as it is. And what if data is not found? So you need to make a false condition. When it's not found, you're just going to be taking this null data like this. So that's how we are able to pass data of this from Strapi.cms. So now let's go to our home page component. Let's click on this. Now as you can see here, we can actually fill this particular bracket in here by receiving the props that are being sent from in app.jsx. So in this case, I'd like to say blocks. Okay. So this is because blocks coming from here, we need to make sure the spelling is the correct. So it needs to be small letter B. And yeah, I think that, and then right now we're able to pass data from our app.jsx to homepage. So let's remove this here from app.jsx, and let's see, are we able to display this from homepage.jsx? Just to double check. Blocks. Let's click save and open our browser. Let me just refresh the whole thing. As you can see here, it says undefined here. So we need to be making sure that we save all our pages. Of course, we need to make sure we save everything before we actually show the console. So now as you can see here, now you'll be able to find the data that's being coming from homepage.jsx. Now you're able to see there are a couple of arrays. So this all this array actually is one array. So it's just repeating a couple of times. So in this case, the data is being sent coming from homepage.jsx. So let's close this, and let me just like add another console here just to see where is this coming from. And I'll say console log, and I would say homepage, and let's click save. And there you go. Now your data is indeed coming from homepage, and this particular data is actually the blocks data, that the blocks array that we were just printing it here. Next thing to do is just need to pass this blocks data into our blocks component. So we'll have to do the same thing, like blocks equals to open the curly braces. Now pass your blocks inside here, and of course you need to be doing the same error handling, which is when blocks is found, it should be blocks, and what if not found, it's just going to be passing an empty field like this. So that's how we should be doing. And let's go inside our blocks here, and before, let me just cut this before and go to our blocks component. And blocks component is where we are able to display the content of the blocks API. So let's go to, let's make it this particular blocks bracket here to be accessible to receive the props that are coming from homepage. So let's open this and let's put like a curly braces. So it's going to be blocks as well. So in this case, I have to go down here, and I have to place that console log thing here. But in this case, it's going to be not homepage. It's going to be called blocks page. So as you can see here, this particular blocks here and here actually is having the same name. So what I like to do is just like to choose the one that's not been coming from here. That's already been here, like this. For example, this blocks here, and this block here, I like to change its name to blocks 1. So blocks 1 here and blocks 1 here. So just not to get confused with the new blocks. Okay, so new blocks is what we'll be testing whether is it being received or not. Let's click save, and let's make sure we always need to save all. Just need to make sure we save all, everything like this. And let's go back to our browser. So as you can see here, blocks page happen to be having its own data here that's being output. And this is just to make sure that we are able to receive the data in the form of API between pages. So right now it is being received. Now let's go back to our project and let's make it work to see like this, like 3 blocks here. So let's close the step and let's go back to our blocks here. So in this case, blocks 1 is basically the dummy data which we won't be using at the moment, but what I like to do, I like to make use of blocks data here. So let's go to our repeating group here, which is here blocks 1 here. So I like to make a copy of this and I like to paste it here. I mean, before pasting, I like to comment this so that I wouldn't want it to be confused between the 2 repeating groups. So I like to paste the duplicate here and just make it properly indented. So as you can see here, the next thing I like to do is that I like to replace all of this data with what you can be found in. So I like to go to our browser and I like to hit console here. So let's go to our console and see how is the data is being formed. So as you can see here, in order to access ID here, that's the first thing we can just directly access that you can put like data. You need to put data first and then we need to put ID. Okay, so that's how it works. So data.id. So that's how we should be doing. So let's go back to our React project. So I need to go here. In this case, it's not going to be blocks 1 here. We need to make sure we put data like this. We put blocks followed by data, and this is the one that is the object. And now we can do directly access block.id like this. And the next thing is that blocks. Let's click save before that. And there you go. Right now, what you're seeing here is basically the block that's coming from CMS, which is just one card, and hence the reason why it's showing 1 card. And the next thing is to show is the cover image. Okay, the cover image, let's go to our console just to see how are we able to access it. For example, as you can see here, attributes dot cover image dot data dot attributes and dot URL. So this is how we are able to find URL. For example, this is the URL. Let's go back to our code. So all you have to do, just need to go here and just instead of block cover image, what you can do here, we need to make sure that we fill up. We need to place attributes cover image followed by data followed by attributes again followed by URL, and let's save this. Okay, as you can see here, you must make sure that the source is not actually working, because you need to make sure your source has to be a link. As you can see, this is not a link, it's just going to be a URL. So let me make sure this whole thing should be an URL. For example, you need to make sure that inside the quotation mark, and inside here this should be the dynamic data by placing the dollar symbol like this, and right before this particular dynamic data here, we'll be placing the link of our project, which is localhost. And so we're actually using localhost HTTPS 1337, and let's click save. And also, there's one more thing that we need to make sure that we are not using HTTPS, it's just HTTP. So that's what we'll be using. So just like this. And lastly, we need to make sure that our link here must be appropriately able to access the link. So let's go back and check our URL. So let's see into our API, how are we able to access that particular image. So in this case, we need to check on cover image and data and attributes, and then as you can see URL, there's already a slash has been provided, so we won't be using any more slashes right after the domain name. So in this case, let's go back to our React project, and as you can see, we happen to have a slash here, which you won't be needing it because the slash is already here. So let's remove the slash and let's click save, and there you go. Now we are able to access the image. So that's the first step that we are able to successfully do. And that's the 2 more things that we would be needing to do is to have the blog title as well as the blog's description. So in this case, it's going to be the same as in this case. Let's go to our console here and let's see how is it being saved. So let's say it's going to be attributes followed by blog title and for description it's going to be attributes.block description. So that's how we're going to be using. So let's do for blog title first. So blog title, we need to be having attributes as well, followed by blog title. Let's click save, and yeah, it works. And let's do the same thing for description. Just need to copy these attributes here, just paste it right here, and this case going to be called blog description. Okay, let's click save. And there you go, guys. This is how you're able to display the content of your Strapi CMS directly inside your React projects. So that's the end of this particular video. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end, and let's meet up in the next one. Thanks.